Good afternoon, Cluj-Napoca. We received information from students that the traditional way of learning, which relieves classic tables and chairs with a laptop the professor does not use, can affect students' concentration and motivation. We will discuss methods that can make our classroom more dynamic and inspiring place for learning.
David told us that teachers are an older generation and using technology isn't their stopping the strong point that creates a significant generation gap.
Close your eyes.
Come on, close them. And imagine.
I'm close. Okay, close. Try to imagine a school without any financial limits, any space limits, any time limits, and any personal limits. Now I gently ask you to open your eyes to get out of the box and see there is no limits in this world.
Yeah, just don't look too much to our example. It's very abstract. I'll try and explain it in my text. So, our solution to the problem at hand is adding one more teacher to the classrooms that the other teachers, the old teachers, have an old, outdated way of teaching new students. Of course, no one teacher or student will be excluded because one might have exciting experience and a form of wisdom that the younger teacher might not have, while the young teacher might have a good way of innovating classes and a need for change and progress. We believe by mixing these virtues that we get a special type of symbiosis that is amazing for teaching any class. By doing this, we aim to, firstly, show teachers that they are not superior compared to their students. Secondly, we want to invent and integrate new and interesting ways of learning. By doing that, we want to motivate every student as an individual, but also the entire classroom as a whole. Okay, now, imagine a class. You're going to a class, to school, and choose biology or geography, like something out of that. That tells you you're going to a forest and having a class, like of Africa or something. And in 2 days' time, you have a test on the same lesson. What grade do you think you'll get? Personally, I'll fail that every single day, and I won't ever fix it. But we believe that students who will go like to outside or in a different way of learning, they will through more time, like a week or two, they will start learning and being more efficient in learning those lessons that were different or in some way special. And at the end, also, we would like to mention that every and each student will be a key part in every step of the process.
I will explain you now a new way of technique of learning new things. So, imagine if you could live in old ancient Greece and play Olympic Games, or maybe to drink rakia with Nikola Tesla, or maybe to live in the 15th century in the Renaissance period. And you probably wonder how we're going to do that. Well, with using new techniques, technologies, AI, and devices, we can achieve something that we never could. You can be anywhere and anytime and learn about anything you ever wished for. With simulation, so we're going to have a specific room, like you wouldn't go in nature if it's like raining and cold. So we'll have a specific room with simulations, and we're going to put VR glasses on our eyes. So by that, also with using special chairs with vibrations, moving audio, and changing temperature in the room, we can achieve a different way of living in the moment. So I will give you an example of that. Like, imagine you put your VR glasses on and you would be in the Arctic, and maybe next to you will be a polar bear or a penguin, and the room will be colder. You will have spraying water from the chair and wind blowing in your hair. Or maybe on the other hand, you would be very hot and you will learn about magmatic rocks near volcano. So with this concept, with technology and AI, we as a students will be more focused and motivated to learn new things.
To begin with, in the order for all this to come true, the students and the professor must change their view of each other. The students must understand that the professor is not a robot who is there to teach them some boring lesson and make them lives miserable with bad grades, but that he is a person who has a soul and private life like everyone else. But the professor must also understand the students. Imagine that the same of class are separated in nature, where the professor and the students get to know each other better, work together and talk about ordinary things, such as, for example, sport, football, maybe even love. As an older person with life experience, he will probably give some advice. After such classes, the students will no longer look at the professor in the same way. They will start to look at him as a friend, and that's the point, right?
In this way, students will learn faster and better. They will be more interesting, and they will no longer hate coming to the school. We also respect the humanistic approach. We do not reject anyone, and at the same time take into account individual needs. In this way, we combine the old and the new and build a new world.
Your questions now.
Thank you. Who has questions? There.
Do you have a question?
So, good job, guys. I would like to ask you, how will you make your teachers, the older teachers, more receptive and willing and open to the changes you're proposing?
So the main idea is like having a month for the young teacher to explain to the older teacher, the guy that doesn't want to change, that he can see through the students that we have here that are now in color and not in color. I don't know if you can see it from there, but he can see that the kids are actually learning something through it and actually wanting to come to school, learn something new, do something new with the young teacher rather than him. And then maybe he'll want to change and want to teach them, go like into a forest and VR or something.
Just out of the curiosity, in your project, who is considered as an old teacher?
Well, the old teacher is considered that using the old system, because we all know how we learn in school. We sit and listen for 1 hour, like just looking at the picture of presentation and letters and like teacher just speaking. So that's why, because we as a young people, we are most of the times on our phones and technology. And so if we use that specific rooms, like example, this is just an imagination. Like you see with the VR, with YouTube videos, with informations and everything. So if we implement that things, maybe we will learn more things and be more motivated.
I'll just stand on that. An old teacher is someone who goes to school just for money. Okay.
Well, he maybe want to teach young people, but he's like doing it for 30 years or more, and he just see that kind of teaching and doesn't understand the new techniques.
Thank you. We have another, 2 more questions. 3 more questions.
Okay, guys, I have a question to you. Do you really think that the old teachers will let the youngest one to teach, but without their input and without their monstrosity, something like that?
I can't hear you. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Oh. Nicola wants to answer. Could you just repeat the question for him if it's not a big deal?
What do you think, like specific?
Yeah, so
question?
my question was very easy about, do you think that the oldest teacher would let the youngest one to teach? Because, you know, the oldest one, with their theories, they're the best one, the amazing one, and the youngest are the best one, and they need to learn after to reach their level.
Well, with results, and if they're really good, like getting A's, he will probably accept the new way.
Also, probably the only person that the old teachers will listen to is the dean of the school, like at the top. And the other problem that you might have is that the dean is also old, and he won't he won't get younger teachers. Well, sometimes he'll do, but they also teach in the old type of way. But the way they might listen to the younger teachers are feedback from the kids, and maybe just listening to the dean if the dean is cool with like kids and stuff.
That's it, if anyone has any more questions, but we're done.
They do.
If you want to ask, you can, but we're done.
Okay, so I agree, like put in new teachers to teach, but I think you could put the older teachers doing training courses, because there is something like that in Portugal, that they will learn with other teachers of other countries, like what we're doing right now, but with teachers.
Yeah, sure, you're right, but this is just a concept. So,
speaking from my perspective, sorry, Nicola, but speaking from my perspective, I went to a bunch of courses and a bunch of educations for like school stuff and not school stuff to teach me to do something better that I already know to do. It might have like went on for a week. I didn't implement anything because I didn't want to learn. It was just a week of my time. If maybe a month was there, something might change.
One more.
Yeah, maybe the way to start this is to actually find 5 teachers who would go into something like this, to have this new approach. I think that you can always start with somebody who is already willing to do it, and then change will start to happen. This is what I wanted to say when I was shouting stupid things, that find the first 5 teachers who are willing to change something and work together with them. I think it could really work.
I think they're in the room right now, hopefully.
Oh, thank you. Good answer. Thank you very much.